Hey, Hockey fans, how's everybody doing? It was an intense night of hockey. Out of the 10 games that were on the board, 6 of those games required extra time to determine a winning team. Very, very intense. The bets we laid were pretty good, though. Carolina, best bet hit. So that's 2 in a row on the best bet, which is great. Record's still not where I'd like it to be, but it's getting there. Parlay, we split. Nashville won. The Islanders did not win, so we split there. But then the over Carolina and Buffalo game, that one hit as well, which was awesome. Regular picks were 4 and 6, and some of those were those overtime shootout games where could have went either way. But some really, really good hockey, that's for sure. And again, with the bets that I laid, I was pretty happy with the way Saturday unfolded. Now we move on to Sunday, December 5th, 2021. There are 6 games on the board. First game, we've got Tampa against Philadelphia. Philadelphia has Carter Hart listed to be in net, confirmed actually, I think, to be in net. They're 2-6-2 in their last 10, current 3-game losing streak. Tampa 7-2-1 in their last 10, current 2-game winning streak. Brian Elliott listed to be in net for the Bolts. Flyers back home after a road trip that resulted in 2 losses and a postponed game. Last game on Wednesday was against the Rangers when they lost that game 4-1 final for New York. Philly outshot the Rangers 34-28, but they were 0-3 on the power play. 7 straight losses for the Flyers now, and 5 of those 7 losses had a margin of defeat by 3 goals or more. If there was ever a team that needed some time to reset, it is Philly. And now they begin the beginning of 2 days back-to-back hockey, tough hockey. 1 game Sunday here against Tampa, and then Monday they play Colorado. I mean, this team has got some talented veterans. They've got some young guns. They've got some great goaltending with Carter Hart. And it's the kind of team, I mean, the coach was saying it in the interview today, and he's been around long enough to be able to say this, and that is that these things can change in a hurry. And this team has enough talent on it that they could turn around, and they could turn this season around and also go on a bit of a winning streak. That's the kind of team Philadelphia is, and the talent that they have. Not going to be easy, though, against Tampa. Tampa playing back-to-back. The back end of a back-to-back. They played Saturday a 3-2 overtime victory against Boston. The winning goal in overtime was a beautiful old-school slap shot from Stamkos into the net. It was just nice to see. I felt like it was one that Tampa was lucky to win because I felt like Boston was the better team for a good portion of that game. Stamkos with 4 assists, 6 points in his last 5 games. Corey Perry, he's settling in with 3 goals in his last 5 games. This will be the 3rd game between these 2 teams. November 18th, it was a shootout decision. It was a 4-3 final for Tampa. November 23rd, it was a 4-0 victory for Tampa. Money line minus 135 or 1.74 for Tampa, plus 115 or 2.15 for Philly. Over under set at 5.5. Historical data says you should go on the over here, and I might play that actually from the research I did. It looks like a good play, the over in this game. Elliott in net, I don't think is a big positive for Tampa. I'm not sure. Anyway, I know he's going to want a good game against his former team, Philadelphia, but the former team knows him well, and I think they're going to light him up. I like Philadelphia, the home dog in this position, big time, and I like the over in this game as well. That's going to be my pick, Philadelphia. Next game, San Jose against Columbus. Columbus has Elvis Merzlikins listed to be in net. They're 5-5-0 in their last 10. Current 4-game losing streak. San Jose, James Reimer listed to be in net. They're 6-4-0 in their last 10. Current 1-game losing streak. Saturday, Columbus played the final game in their 4-game road trip against Washington, and it was a 3-1 loss for the Blue Jackets. A terrible road trip where they went 0-4, where they were outscored 18-6. Over the 4-game stretch. I felt like they just didn't even show up against Washington. The Caps outshot them 32-18. And I know the Blue Jackets are going to be happy to be coming home. They've won the last 3 games at home, I believe it is. So after that road trip, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to shake that road trip after just one day. So we'll see what happens there. San Jose, they had Saturday off. They played their last game They're on a road trip, and they actually were handed their first loss by the Rangers. It was a 1-goal game scored by the Rangers, and now they're going to look to end this road trip with a win. So far, they're 3-1 on the road trip. Timo Meier leading in production with 4 goals, 6 points in his last 5 games. Logan Couture with 4 assists in his last 5. James Reimer with a nice .934 save percentage. Sharks have an all-time 23-17 record against Columbus, and the Sharks have won all 4 times that the games have went into extra time. This is the first of 2 games between these 2 teams. Money line plus an even 100 for San Jose, or an even 2.0. Columbus minus 120 or 1.83. I'm kind of surprised Columbus is favored here. I'm not sure if that's because of their last 3 wins at home and they're back home. I just don't think that they should be favored, in my opinion. Over-under set at 5.5. I think San Jose is playing better hockey, better energy. I like San Jose as my pick for that game. Game 3, we got Chicago against the New York Islanders. Islanders have Varlamov listed to be in net. They're 0-8-2. In the winning column, a big goose egg. 2 overtime decisions, though, which is a positive. 6-4-0 last 10 for Chicago. Also a 1-game losing streak. Marc-Andre Fleury listed to be in net for the Hawks. Back-to-back hockey for both teams here. The Islanders were able to earn another single point by their game going into extra time. Unable to find a win on Saturday against Detroit. It ended up being a 4-3 final for the Red Wings. Special teams, definitely a highlight, a shorthanded goal, 2 power play goals for the Islanders. That's something to build off of. Another solid performance, even though it was an overtime decision. I thought the Islanders played a good game. More bodies back in the lineup, getting healthier, getting stronger. And, I think some positives despite 10 straight losses. The 3 goals that they scored against Detroit, that matches what they scored in the last 4 games combined. So they're definitely trending in the right direction, and I still have hope for this Islanders team, even with where they sit. Chicago also off a loss Saturday. It was a 3-2 final for the New York Rangers. Patrick Kane, he opened the scoring for the Hawks and gave them a brief lead, but the next 3 goals were all New York. DePrinket, he got 1 near the end, but it just wasn't enough. Seth Jones with 4 points in his last 5 games. Brendan Hagel with 3 goals in his last 5. The Hawks went with Lankinen against the Rangers, so I'm pretty confident Marc-Andre Fleury will be between the pipes for this game, starting the game. 2 veteran goalies here. Marc-Andre Fleury, I know he's been playing more. He's been playing really well compared to Varlamov. I'm still waiting to see Varlamov play the way that I know he can play. You have to think a strong game is coming his direction, just like this team in general. This is his second and the last time that these teams are going to meet in the regular season. It was a 4-1 final for the Islanders back on October 19th. Money line plus 135 for Chicago, or 2.35, minus 160 or 1.63 for the Islanders. Over-under set at 5.5. I like the home favorite here, the Islanders, to get their first win in their new arena and their first win in quite a long time, actually much needed. Hopefully continue to build off those 2 overtime decisions that they've just had. Next game, game 4, we've got the LA Kings against the Edmonton Oilers, a West Pacific Division matchup here. Edmonton 6-4-0 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Mikko Koskinen listed to be in net for the Oilers. The Kings have Jonathan Quick listed to be in net, and they're 3-4-3 with a current 1-game losing streak. 3-4-3 is their last 10. Edmonton was last in action on Friday when they played Seattle and came up a little short. Final 4-3 for the Kraken. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Evan Bouchard all with goals for the Oilers in the game. Oilers, they're going to begin a 6-game home stretch here. When they're at home, they got a strong record. They're 9-1-0 so far this season at home. And also an interesting little stat, after a loss, the Oilers are 5-0 this season so far. They're number 1 in the power play at 35.3%, second in the penalty kill at 88.4%, and third in the goals for category. LA, who looked all right early in the year, is struggling. They're trending down. Their last game was a 3-2 loss to Calgary at home. in LA. They've lost 7 of the last 8, just finished a 7-game home stretch. And if you were a LA Kings fan with season's tickets and, going to those games, you watched your team lose 6 of the 7. So hard to be a fan right now. First of 4 games between these two teams. Both teams a little affected with COVID right now. Cody Ceci out for Edmonton, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, Andreas Anthony out for the Kings. So both teams a little affected. Money line plus 165 or 2.65 for the Kings. Over under set at 6. Minus 185 or 1.57 for Edmonton. I like the home favorite here a lot. Edmonton's just too much of a hockey team for the LA Kings right now with where they're at. That's my pick, Edmonton to win the game. Next one, we've got Toronto against Winnipeg. Winnipeg, Connor Hellebuyck listed to be in net. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. Current 1-game winning streak. Toronto, Joseph Woll listed to be in net. They're 8-1-1 with an overtime decision. Winnipeg need to get back in the win column, and that is what they did when they played New Jersey on Friday. Final score of 8-4. Mark Scheifele with a hat trick. Blake Wheeler with 3 helpers. Great for the Jets, who outshot the Devils 40-37. They won 63% of the puck drop, 1 for 4 on the power play, and they outhit the Devils 30-20. It's a great game for Winnipeg. Much needed game for Winnipeg. Toronto on the back end of some back-to-back hockey. Saturday they played Minnesota, and it was a great game. Another one of the games that required extra time went into a shootout to determine a winner. Final 4-3 for the Wild. Jason Spezza with a good game. He had a couple goals and an assist. Austin Matthews with a goal and an assist. Morgan Riley with 3 assists in the game. Fast-paced, 82 shots registered between both teams. And if Joseph Woll is in net, if he does get the nod, he still has a perfect record and has not had a loss since he has started, I think, only 3 games. First of 2 games between these two. And if you look at just the numbers, I mean, they say that Toronto should win this game. But you have to think Toronto, back-to-back, travel, and it was a tough game against Minnesota. It wasn't an easy game, and they definitely left a lot of energy on the ice that game. And then you got to take a look at the Jets, who, they come into this game rested. And you got to think maybe a corner turned, definitely some confidence restored. I see them coming out fast and trying to get an early lead against this Toronto team and continuing right where they left off against New Jersey. Money line minus 130 or 1.77 for Toronto, plus 110 or 2.1 for Winnipeg. Over under set at 5.5. And it's kind of a tiebreaker, this game. It's kind of, if you go look at historical stuff, they're 24-24. I mean, if the game goes into extra time, Toronto has the edge where they're 9-1. But I think it's going to be a really exciting game, and I kind of look to Winnipeg as an upset, another home dog. I kind of like that. Home dog, Winnipeg's going to be my pick for that game. Next game, last game, we've got Calgary against Vegas. Vegas 6-4-0 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Robin Lehner listed to be in net. Calgary has Jacob Markstrom listed to be in net. They're 8-1-1 with a current 3-game winning streak. Friday was when Vegas last played a game against Arizona and when the Knights had no mercy and handed the Coyotes a 7-1 loss in front of the Arizona fans. A big 4-goal second period, a shorthanded goal, a power play goal was all part of it. Vegas scoring lots of goals and moving up in the goals for category. They sit in 6th currently in the league. Historically, Vegas has done good against Calgary. They're 8-3. That's their record against the Flames. Calgary, they're in sole position of first in the Pacific. Friday was their last game. It was a shootout victory, 4-3 final over Anaheim. Tkachuk with the winner that ended it. It was a hard-fought game that the Flames ended up with 2 points. Calgary has won 3 in a row. 2 of those games have required extra time. Calgary is still holding first in the goals against category. Goaltending advantage, you got to go to the Flames here. Lehner, I think, is still trying to find his game this season, losing 2 of his last 2 starts, 3 of his last 5. Flames with a strong road record, 11-2-2, and the Flames still with the strongest goal differential across all 4 divisions at a plus 31. Yet, with all that, if you look at another stat, which I've been kind of looking at lately, and that's a cross comparison with common opponents. The Flames win 40% of those games. Vegas wins 62% of those games. And I think Vegas is trending a little stronger right now than the Flames. And the Flames are playing really good too. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Calgary right now. Money line has Calgary at a plus even 100 or an even 2.0. Vegas minus 120 or 1.83. Over under set at 5.5. You almost want to play the over here too, but I'm only going to do one over today. I like Vegas. The home favorite is going to be my pick. Best bet, I'm going to go the New York Islanders to win, to get a win in their new arena and a win, the first win in quite a long time. I'm going to do two parlays. I'm going to go San Jose and Edmonton, both on the money line for one. The second one, I'm going to go Winnipeg and the Islanders, both on the money line. Over under, I'm going to say Philly and Tampa, over 5.5. And then a lot of football going on too. So if I had to give a football pick, what would I do for a football pick? Atlanta plus 10.5 over Tampa. There's my football pick. Regular picks, Vegas over Calgary, Winnipeg over Toronto, Edmonton over the LA Kings, the Islanders over Chicago, San Jose over Columbus, Philadelphia over Tampa. Hope everyone has a great Sunday. Good luck with your picks. Enjoy the hockey. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Talk soon.